Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now we will start propagation of waves in half space. Let us first define that what does a half space mean. That suppose that you have a plane x2 is equal to 0. So there will be a boundary line here, then this denotes x2 is equal to 0. Now we have two halves of this plane, above and below. Now this is half space and this is also half space and this is whole space. Now we will consider two types there. First we will consider only one half space, then we will consider joined half spaces. On one half space we mean that we have a continuum that occupies one side of the space, that is called the continuum occupies half space, and other side will be considered as vacuum. So we will discuss plane waves in half space. Now if you have two boundaries like this is one boundary, this is again a boundary, then this type of structure is called a plate-like structure. That continuum will occupy this space, and so this is, and you have this thickness is finite, and you have infinite on right and left side. That this is from here you have infinity, this is extended up to infinity on this side, and also this is extended up to infinity, but this is vertically, this is finite. Now we have two types of boundary conditions here. One is free boundary and other one is clamped boundary. When we say that we have free boundary there, then we mean that we have stress components 0 at that boundary. That if you have boundary x2 is equal to 0, then it means that components of stress will be 0 at x2 is equal to 0. Suppose that we have this type of boundary x2 is equal to 0, then these components of stresses will be considered, and they will be considered is equal to 0 at this boundary. This 2 because of x2, and this is 1 2 3 3 component, that we have t2j, j1 j2 and j3, they all will be 0 at this boundary. And if you have clamped boundary, then at clamped boundary we mean that displacement will be vanished at the boundary. Displaced components will be u1 u2 u3, they will be 0 at that boundary. So when you have half space, when you have considered half space, then you have only reflection, incident wave and reflected wave. That one wave is incident on this boundary, then it will be reflected back from that boundary. So it will be in the case when you will consider only half space, and only half space, because you have vacuum on other side, so refraction can't be occurred in this situation. So when you have joined half spaces, then it means that you can have refraction, that when incident wave which emanates from infinite depth, which it will hit on this boundary, then a part of this wave will be reflected back, and a part of this will refracted means that it will go through this boundary and enter in above half space. It means that we have continuum on both sides. For the sake of simplicity, we will consider that our continuum which occupies the half space is isotropic continuum, because we have to consider, to apply the free boundary condition, we have to consider the stress components, and they will come from the stress strain equation, and if you have general and you know that your general stress strain equation is Tij equals toCijkl skl, and you also know that if you have isotropic continuum, then you have simplest form of that stress strain equation. So that is why we are considering only isotropic material, that material which occupies the half spaces is isotropic, so that we can discuss this thing easily. Now if you to join half spaces, then at the interface is the boundary between two half spaces. Displacement should be continuous and stresses should be continuous. Displacement should be continuous means that displacement at this side and displacement on the above side, they will be equal at this boundary. And stresses should be continuous mean that stresses on this side, lower half space and above half space will be equal at this boundary. This is continuity mean. Now we have, you know that we have two types of basic waves. They are longitudinal and transverse. Second name of longitudinal wave is P wave, P for primary, and transverse we call it S secondary wave. That when waves are generated, then longitudinal wave will generate first, then transverse wave will be generated. Primary, secondary. So for primary we have n equals to p, propagation will be same as polarization is same as propagation, and here they both will be perpendicular with each other for secondary wave, transverse wave. Further we will divide this transverse wave into two further conditions, two further types. Suppose that we have n in this plane x1 x2. If your P is also in this plane, then we have SV wave, secondary and vertical, V for vertical wave. It is to be noted that P and N, they will be perpendicular with each other in any case. But if P lies in x1 x2 plane and also perpendicular to N, then you will have SV wave. In second case, if P is parallel to x3 direction, then you will have SH wave, H for horizontal. So if you have transverse, then further you will have two types. If your P polarization vector will lie in the same plane in which N lies, then you will have SV, and if your P is along third direction, then you will have SH wave. Now let us consider reflection of plane wave from the surface of a half space. Now in this we will consider that we have SH wave, that we have incident wave is SH and also reflected wave is SH. Suppose that as we have half space, then it means that we have reflection only. So we consider SH wave as incident and reflected with both types of boundary conditions. First we will see with the help of clamped boundary, then we will see with the help of free boundary. Suppose that we have plane x2, this is plane, and we have wave which is incident on this. This is the polarization vector, so propagation vector of the incident wave, and naught, and this is the theta naught angle which this propagation vector will make with the normal vector, which is this vector is the normal on the plane x2, surface of the plane. So this is the theta naught angle between these two vectors. So we have clamped boundary and an SH wave. So for SH wave we have n naught from here, sin theta 0 cos theta 0 0. So as we have SH, so it means that P naught will be 0 0 1. Suppose that our displacement is equal to this. are displayed in this form. As we have plane wave, so we can write our displacement solution in this form. A for amplitude, E per iota, P, this P for polarization, and this eta is given here. So note that here is not E iota. Eta will be simply equal to K into x dot n minus Ct. X is position of the particle which moves with the wave, n is the propagation vector which is given here, and t is the time, is c is the phase velocity of the wave, k is the wave number of the wave. And this is the general, here we have taken general form of the complex form of the plane wave. General form, complex form. Now you have to write the three displacement components for incident wave. This not 0 denotes that we are dealing with incident wave, and these 1, 2, 3 which are subscripts, these denote components. U1 0 0, U2 0 0, because we have P naught 0 0 1. First component 0, second component 0, so these first two components will be 0. Third is 1, so we have third in this way. U3 0, A naught for incident amplitude, E per iota, K naught for incident wave number, x dot n minus Ct. Ct for that we are taking SH wave, transverse Ct. T for transverse. So here will be sin theta 0 x1 plus cos theta 0 x2 minus Ct T. Now to satisfy the boundary condition, we are supposing that there are reflected wave with propagation vector n1 with an angle theta 1, and assume that this reflected wave is also SH wave. So for that, n1 is sin theta 1 minus cos theta 1. Now this is, you can write from here that this is minus cos theta j, and this is sin theta I, sin theta 1 I minus cos theta 1 j, n1. So P1 will be 0 0 1 because we have SH wave. Again U1 first two components will be 0, third one will be in this form. You have A1 E exponential iota K1 sin theta 1 x1 minus cos theta x2 minus Ct t. So here you have K1 for wave number of reflected, A1 is the amplitude, sin theta 1 is the angle of the reflected wave which makes n with this is the angle which makes the propagation vector n with the normal vector, which is normal of the surface. This is minus cos theta x2 minus Ct t. Now if you have Coulomb boundary, then Coulomb boundary says that displacement should be equal to 0 at x2 is equal to 0. So u3 0 plus u3 1 equals to 0, because we have only these two components non-zero, other are 0 due to polarization vectors of incident and reflected wave. So from here we have this type of equation number, we have set this as A, as this equation must be satisfied for all values of x1 and t. Here we have x2 is equal to 0 because we have x2 is equal to 0. So the exponential must be equal. So they require that for the exponential to be equal, they will require that k naught sin theta naught will be equal to k1 sin theta 1, and k naught Ct will be equal to k1 Ct. This thing, k naught sin theta 0 equals to k1 sin theta 1, and k naught Ct equals to k1 Ct, and this thing implies that k naught equal to k1. Now if this k1 not equal to k1, if you will use this here, then k1 will be cancelled out, and you will have sin theta not equals to sin theta 1. So by operating with the help of sine inverse, so then you can write theta naught equals to theta 1 like this, that if sin theta 0 is equal to sin theta 1, then you can write by operating sine inverse you have theta naught equal to theta 1, so it will be this. Now using all this, in equation number A you have a naught, and this thing will be common out, will be taken as common out, because this is equal and this is equal, so exponential will be same. When the exponential will be same, then you can take this common. Then from equation A you can have exponential of this into a naught plus a1 equals to 0. And you know that exponential can't be equal to 0, so exponential not equal to 0, then a naught plus a1 will be equal to 0. Then you can write a naught equals to minus a1, or a1 equals to minus a naught. Then what is the result? That you have k naught, theta naught, a naught, they are for the incident wave, and k1 theta 1 a1 for the reflected wave. So wave number of reflected will be equal to wave number of incident, and wave number angle will be equal to angle, incidence angle, and amplitude a1 will be equal to minus a naught. So we have reflected SH wave with amplitude equal in magnitude but opposite in direction, opposite sign as that of incident wave. So we have a phase shift of 180 in this case, that if you have clamped boundary then these will be same, but a phase shift of 180 will occur due to this. 180 degree will occur. Now if you have free boundary, then let's see what happens. Now again we will suppose that reflected incident SH and reflected is SH. Now we will have to calculate stress components, because we are taking free boundary, and for free boundary we will have to take stress components, and they will be T2J. This 2 is coming from this 2, x2, so T2. J will vary from 1 to 3. So it could be T21, T22, T23. So we have 3 components of stress, and we have to calculate these 3 components of stress. Then we will put these 3 components equals to 0 at this boundary. This is the condition. This is the free boundary condition. I have made correction here. This is S21 and this is S22. Now what is T21? As we are taking isotropic continuum, so T21 will be equal to, no, formula for the stress strain relation when you are talking about isotropic continuum is Tij equals to lambda skk delta ij plus 2 mu sij. Now if you have T21, now you will have to calculate 3 components, T21, T22 and T23. Now for T21 will be equal to lambda skk delta 21 plus 2 mu s21 plus 2 mu s21. Now first term is 0 due to delta 21. Now second term contains 2 mu s21. Now this is basically s21. And what is s21? S21 equals to 1 by 2 partial u1 partial x2 plus partial u2 partial x1. This denotes that we are dealing with incident wave. And you know that for incident wave u1 0, u2 0, these 2 components are equal to 0. So as these components are equal to 0, so this s21 equals to 0, and if this s21 equal to 0, then it means that T21 equal to 0, because T21 contains 2 terms. First term is 0 due to delta 21 and second will be 0 due to this s21. No, for T22 means 2 lambda skk delta 22 plus 2 mu S22. Now again you have two terms in T22. Second term will be 0 due to this S22, because S22 is partial U2 partial X2 and this U2 0 is 0. So S22 is 0. So second term of T22 will be equal to 0. No, you will be left with only first term, and that contains T22 equals to lambda SKK, and delta 21 will be taken as equal to 1. So lambda SKK. So SKK you can write S11 plus S22 plus S33, and you have seen that S22 is 0, and again S11 will also be 0, because S11 will be equal to partial U1 partial X2 and U1 0. So S11 0, S22 0 and S33. S33 equals to partial U3 partial X3, that you will have to take partial derivative of U3 with respect to X3, and you have seen that there is no X3 in U3. So U3 is independent of X3. So partial U3 derivative of U3 with respect to X3 will be equal to 0. So this is how your T22 will be equal to 0. Now you will be left with only T23. Now T23 will be equal to lambda SKK delta 23 plus 2 mu S23. This is 0. This term is 0. You have 2 mu S23 partial U2 partial X3 plus partial U3 partial X2 and 2. This 2 will cancel out with this 2. You will mu, and this is 0 because U2 is 0. Now you have this partial U3 partial X3. Now you will have to take derivative simply with respect to X2. When you will take derivative of U3 not with respect to X2, you have this mu A naught I K0 cos theta naught, coefficient of X2, and exponential as it is. No, you will have to do the same thing for reflected wave. It will be this T23 equals to mu partial U31 partial X2. Again derivative with respect to you will have simply minus A, because minus A here, minus mu A1 IK1 cos theta 1 exponential, and this thing. Now you will have to apply the boundary condition. Boundary condition sum of 2 will be equal to 0 at X2 is equal to 0. Total stress, they will be sum of these two components. Other two components are already 0. Now put X2 is equal to 0. This is T23 incident plus T23 reflected, and this term is 0 due to boundary. So again the same thing will be applied, and you will have exponential identical K naught sin theta 0 is equal to K1 sin theta 1, K naught C2 equals to K1 C2. This thing will imply that K naught equal to K1, and from this K naught equal to K1 you will have theta naught equal to theta 1. Then above equation becomes, for this from here you can write A naught equals to A1. So for free boundary, reflected SH wave is in phase with the incident wave. This thing, wave number will be same as incident, angle will be same as incident angle, and amplitude will be the same as for incident wave. So for a free boundary, a reflected wave SH is reflected as SH wave which is in the phase with the incident wave. Now this is for the today lecture. In next lecture we will discuss further types of waves by taking half spaces. Thank you so much.